Hello everybody, today I'm going to be doing a tarot card reading that is just really one reading. It's a general message to anybody that sees this video. You are meant to hear this, and this is a timeless reading. I am going to be mentioning some astrology that is happening during this time of year. I'm definitely going to be mentioning winter and the holidays, but that doesn't mean that there isn't messages in here for you at any time of year. And I am going to be using crystals. So if there's a specific crystal that you are drawn to, then maybe that is a section that you can focus on. And if you don't have time to watch the full reading, then you can look down below and I will have the timestamps for each crystal section linked down below. One thing I wanted to say before I start is that I don't typically do future readings, like this is what's going to happen to you, because I kind of think that you have your own personal power to change your life, and I might be able to tell you some tips and tricks and maybe prepare you for something that could happen, but in reality, I like to just give kind of more general advice rather than saying this is exactly what's going to happen to you, because I don't want to be telling your future. We all have different futures. We can change our futures. And that's not really one way that I use tarot cards very often. Sometimes I'll have a single card that represents the future in a reading, but typically I just focus on what can be done in the present moment. And this is going to be some advice and some spiritual guidance for you for the next month. So let me show you what I have down here and show you the crystals, and we can get started. Okay, so this is the tarot card reading that I'm doing today. I just got these crystals as a gift, and they came with this sheet, which tells exactly what the crystals are. And I was going to do the whole reading as like a general message to anybody that sees this, but I definitely will leave each crystal linked down below. These two cards popped out together, so I have a feeling that the obsidian and the tiger's eye definitely are linked to each other. And this is actually rose quartz. I pulled out the quartz to make sure I wasn't wrong, because there's rose quartz and quartz in the set. And yeah, this is rose quartz. You can't see the slight pink that it has on camera. That's why I wanted to pull out the quartz to compare. But yeah, I got the rose quartz in the center here with the... Whoa, did you hear that? Oh yeah, we got some energy happening during this reading. Ooh. Oh my god, that like shook the house. It's still going. Wow, that was crazy. I have a feeling that's going to be happening during this reading quite a bit. And then the other one that we have is Appetite. I think I'm saying that correctly. And red jasper up top. And we have Peace here with us for some emotional support. It's my boyfriend's. I gave him one so he can smell good every day. And yeah, so hopefully this will be a peaceful reading. But anyways, the rose quartz, has to do with love, harmony, and relationships. So that could be definitely useful during this time of year. Although I think that all of my readings are timeless. Whenever you see the reading is when the reading is supposed to come to you. But I definitely will probably be mentioning some different astrological events that are coming up during this time of year. And also, it's winter and the holiday season, so maybe we'll get some information about how you can traverse those relationships that can sometimes be rocky. So that's for the rose quartz. And tiger's eye, I always think of as for confidence. And it says it brings good luck, stone of protection. So it's not exactly how I think of it as. It says promoting mental clarity, unclouded by emotions. What does this say? Particularly useful healing psychosomatic illness, dispelling fear and anxiety. I'm not even sure what psychosomatic illness is. And red jasper, I think of as a grounding stone. Yes, it simulates base or root chakra, definitely. So maybe there will be some spiritual guidance for the root there for that one. And obsidian. What does it say about obsidian here? It says strongly protective stone. Yeah, that's what I always think of it as. Most stones that are black, I think of them as being protective, like black tourmaline, which I'm actually wearing today. Yeah, a shield against negativity and psychic attacks. So hopefully that reading can help with that. And did I say blue apatite? It says blue apatite is a highly useful stone to encourage the growth of your spirituality and health. Use in meditation, improve stress levels, and enhance many gifts that are waiting to be released in your life. All right. So those are the sections that we have today. And feel free to watch the whole reading because I think that they're really going to go together. You can also do this as a single card reading as well, and just jump right to the crystals that will be linked down below. Okay, I am going to start with the rose quartz, which you can barely tell is rose quartz, and we got the Starborn number 3. It has an egg on it, some sparks, lots of color. I actually know exactly what this card means, even though this deck is definitely one of the newer decks that I have, because I've pulled it recently. And you can almost tell just by looking at the card because it has that egg and the crack where it's like you're in this stage of almost like cocoon, and you're about to break free. It's like all of these ideas in your head and they aren't yet into the world, but they're about to be. But there's so much more to this card. This card is about believing in your own destiny and setting your destiny, basically. Like, you have control over your destiny and you can make that happen. One of the things that this card talks about is finding your passions if you don't already have them. Adding to your passions in a special way, maybe a way that you've never thought of before. So how you can do this, in this card, it specifically says this, is to focus on what lit you up as a child. And this was in the rose quartz section, right? Which has to do with love. So I generally think of rose quartz as self-love. And a good way to love yourself is to put focus on what lights you up, what lights your heart up. And it specifically talks about in this card what lit your heart up as a child. So think of the things that made you happy as a child. And this isn't just talking about for what you're going to make money off of. This is talking about what is going to make your life worth living. What are those little sparks of joy that are going to make your life worth living? Did you like climbing trees? Did you like playing The Sims? What did you like doing when you were a kid? Those types of things. Think about what you like doing. And even if that is finger painting and coloring outside of the lines and things like that, I think that this card is a calling to release that inner child And if you have, children or children in your family or friends that have children, it might be a good time to experience some life with them, play with them, color with them, do the things that you like to do as a kid, really spark that joy in yourself and others. And that it's a really good time of year to talk about this with the holidays coming up. I think that it's asking you to nurture the child inside. I know that holidays can be such a hard time for so many people because I think there's this set up picture of how it should look in your head, Maybe that's from movies. Maybe that's from the way it once was. Whatever it is, and then maybe you've lost someone super close to you and it'll just never be the same. So I think it's really important to nourish yourself during those times, to think, how can I light my heart up? And it doesn't have to be always pushing towards making money. Right now, it's Capricorn season. And there are, I think, 1 or 2 other planets also in Capricorn. Actually, Pluto is in Capricorn, and it's going to be until a couple months from now. And Pluto doesn't change very often, so it's been in Capricorn for a while. And Sun is in Capricorn, and I think there's one more. And the thing about that is Capricorn really does remind me of a go-getter. Somebody that focuses on business in life, focuses on setting those really large goals and attaining them and working extremely hard, extremely passionate people, Capricorns are. And I think it can get lost on Capricorns and in Capricorn season and Capricorn energy on all of us, is that that's not always what life is about, right? It's not all about how can I make the most money or how can I be the most successful or how can I this or that. And you build all this stuff that you want to be, but are you remembering the little joys? Those are sometimes the most important things in life. That's what you're going to remember. Is, if you've ever seen the movie Soul, God, that movie is so beautiful, seriously. It's such a good movie to watch with children, too, because it doesn't have any violence or anything like that in it, and it's just a very moving movie. I'm sure you've probably seen it. And that movie specifically talks about that. I think the, spirit beings in that movie, they're like, he's like, what's my purpose? What's my purpose? And then they, laugh at him, like, oh, humans, needing a purpose. And he sees, just one of those little helicopter things fall off an oak tree. And that's, the spark. It's the spark. And it's like, wow. That is what makes life worth living. Those tiny little things, when you just see it with these eyes, God, that's so beautiful, and it's so simple, and it's not trying, and it's just part of the whole. And I can be that too. I can just be flowing in one with the universe. I think that we're the only being on Earth, and maybe out of the many probable aliens that exist in the planes of existence, I think that we're one of the only beings right now that just refuses to flow a lot of times. A lot of humans and everybody, even the most conscious person, is probably struggling with flowing with the universe, because look at the way animals just live. They just live. They just go with it. They do what they do, and it's ingrained in them. And we can be like that too. We can follow our passions and follow what we need, food and water and shelter and good people, your pack. You can live like that. but we struggle. We really do. And I think that's one of humans' biggest struggles, is just seeing life for all its magnificence instead of thinking one thing that it talks about in the card is it's like, don't see life as like logistics all the time. It's some days, there's other days where it's like, yeah, get your bills straight and do all that stuff that needs to be done. Maybe get everything on auto payments and whatever. That's all logistics, but there needs to be a lot of time in your life that is not about the logistics and not about this or that and financial and no, there needs to be a section of your life that is just, where am I going? What am I do? How am I lighting myself up today? How am I pouring into my cup? What passions am I going to spark today? Am I going to do something just to make me feel happy? I want to do something just to feel alive. If you're just constantly in this grind, in this cycle, it never ends. It feels like a jail. And almost like you put yourself in it. And all you have to do is just step back for a moment and say, wait. And the funny thing is, so many people will say, I don't have time for that. I'm a mother, or I have people to take care of, and I work 60 hours a week, and there's all of these just constant things that need to be dealt with, and how can I not worry about logistics when my bank account is negative and this? Take a moment, because if you worry your whole day on that negative balance or something that's just you cannot deal with, something that you can't get away from, like a baby crying, you can't. But when there is a downtime, the whole time shouldn't be spent thinking, I'm a terrible mother, or this job is dead end and I'm gonna die in it. And there's all this thinking, this it's like catastrophizing. It's thinking, there is no out for me, there is no hope for me, this will never get better. And that's just not true. Things will get better. And honestly, since this is upright, I can't say that that's like when this card is reversed, it truly does mean that people are super struggling to find their passions. But when the Starborn is upright, it actually means that you are sure of your passions. So I think that there really could be multiple people in this reading. This is a more general reading, as I said, where there's some people that are quite sure of where their passion lies, and then others who are really, really, really struggling with where their passion lies. And if that means writing down a list of all the things that sparked, that lit you up in childhood, that you want to dive back into, if that means not just childhood either, like when you were a teen, when you were a young adult, think about things that used to light you up that you no longer do. And I've said this recently a couple times, but mesh ideas together. Mesh them together. If you liked doing Etch-a-Sketch, or what was that one where you could make what was that called? I feel like I need to put it up on this. You liked Etch-a-Sketch when you were a kid, and you liked painting. Now, what if you paint an Etch-a-Sketch? Like, what if you paint the frame of an Etch-a-Sketch? This is what I'm saying. Like, I'm just coming up with this off the top of my head. Like, that's not the best idea in the world, but once you write your list and you see things that you could combine and create, and it stems invention and it stems idea, and yes, sometimes your passions can become money makers, but I think this card really talks about being in love with life just for living it, just for having fun, just for having joy like a child. Is a child worried about money? You know, is a child worried about going to a job? No, that energy needs to be brought back in. And I think that this truly is a problem with everybody. Like every adult I know, I have that same feeling, and it's not to say you can't focus on those things that need to be focused on. It's just that downtime. If there's some time in between, what does focusing on all of the negative moments and all of that do for you? Fill that time with activities. Take your mind off of things. Even if you're so freaking tired, like, you really got to schedule in this time to do fun activities for yourself, and maybe possibly with children in your life, or, you know, with friends in your life, and just do something fun, you know? Like painting with a twist, you know, people love that stuff. It's just little things like that, and you can make that happen in your house, you know. It's for probably way cheaper. That's what I'm getting out of this card. Just bring that spark back in. Bring that joy back in. Bring that love of life back in. That might even mean setting boundaries with people. Like, listen, I have to have a half hour or an hour a day to do something for me. And I need you to know that you cannot feel guilty for taking time to do something for yourself. Do not feel guilty. Do not feel guilty. No matter what, even if you don't have anybody to look after, and even if you have help, and it does not matter. It does not matter what your situation is at all. You deserve time for yourself. You deserve to say, okay, I'm going to worry about bills during this part of the day, but I'm also going to have a different part of my day, and maybe do the bills part first so you can actually experience the day. And if there is a negative number, you're like, I'm going to work. There's nothing I can really do about it right now, unless maybe I pick up some babysitting, or maybe I do that. But then with the babysitting, you pick up babysitting, and now you're coloring with children, and it's sparking joy. So now, double whammy, you're literally helping yourself with money problems, and you're also experiencing joy with children. That just came to me, but like, I don't know, that just came right to me. But it's definitely bringing that childlike wonder into your life and making it a staple in your life. Life is not all tasks and chores. In fact, you can turn something that you considered a chore, like, oh, I have to cook dinner for the rest of my life. Well, if you're going to have to do it for the rest of your life, you're going to have to obtain food for yourself for the rest of your life. I think it's important to try to spin your perspective about food. If that is a problem for you, I'm not saying that's going to be a problem for everyone. Some people in this pile are going to see life as a series of like, oh, I have to pay these bills, and I have to, you know, make this food. And if that's you, it's time to try to flip your perspective about things. Say, this food is nourishing me. Maybe learning new things about cooking, or, you know, researching about how to become a better cook, or just try to spin your perspective on it. Like, I'm going to try to make something delicious out of cheap food. Let's see if I can do it. You know, like, change the wording of, oh God, I have to cook again? This is terrible. And if you notice a pattern where it's like, you hate making dinner after work, then maybe meal prepping. Maybe you see a pattern in yourself. You don't like to cook at night. Maybe you actually seem to kind of enjoy cooking in the morning. Well, maybe on Saturdays and Sundays you can cook a couple meals for yourself and have leftovers for the whole week. Something like that. Like, there's a mix between perspective changing and being real with yourself, understanding who you are and when things work best for you, and then sticking to those goals, sticking to those habits. And if they aren't working, shifting them, morphing them, changing them, adding in new routines, taking away routines. This is the new year right now. I mean, this is a timeless reading, so Uh, you know, this can be at any time that you're feeling this energy, but right now really is a time that people love to set new intentions. And astrologically speaking, today is a new moon, so any new moon really is a good time to set intentions. But people love to set their new goals during this time of year, right? And I always thought that was kind of weird because, winter, unlike hibernating season, maybe focus on your passions and researching them, or doing art in your house. But I always think that the ultimate push comes out in spring, where you're showing people things and you're really sharing with people and everything. But that doesn't mean that you can set those goals, set those new sparks in action during this time of year. I think it's the perfect time of year. Make a list of goals that you have, make a list of habits that are going to help attain those goals, and make sure to put on your list to enjoy life, to do something for yourself, to spark that joy. It might even mean working on some childhood traumas. If you have to do that with a trusted friend, maybe talk to them about something that you've been thinking about, or obviously a therapist or psychologist or someone like that is always a good option, because they can kind of give you an outside perspective. And I think that there's definitely some people in this group that might have a problem catastrophizing, might have a problem feeling aimless. I don't think that's everybody because it is upright, but I definitely think there are some people in this group that have a problem with thinking it's all going wrong, and what is life even about anymore? Where is the spark? I can't find it. And this is a call to action. Light yourself up. Do those things that you used to love. If that means bringing in some children to really spark that inspiration, if you know any children in your life, you want to spend some time with them, make it a point to spend a lot of time with them, get on their level. And I think that that's everything I have for you today. And I'm going to be moving on to, I think I'm going to do the blue appetite next. So if you want to stick around for that. Okay, and moving on to the blue appetite, I got Mugwort Reverse. This is from the brand new deck that my boyfriend just got me. It is called the Herbal Astrology Oracle. And Mugwort Reverse, let's look at the picture. Upright has an owl, so wisdom, and an older woman. Reminds me of like a crone. Kind of reminds me of the moon cycles here coming through. I talked about the moon cycles a little bit already in the last reading, but I'll definitely mention that again. I think this is like a portal mirror here. For Mugwort, an association that I have personally is for dreams. I know that some people smoke mugwort or drink mugwort tea to enhance dreaming. Lucid dreaming. Oh my god, that took me forever to think of. It reminds me of lucid dreaming. Is definitely one way that mugwort is definitely one way that mugwort can be used. Hold on, I need some water. If I'm not mistaken, I believe that mugwort can actually be unsafe to smoke and drink. I was attempting to make like herbal smoke mixes at one point in my life, and then I realized that just smoking things in general is it's a carcinogen to smoke something, and it can be quite dangerous, and it wasn't something that I wanted to get involved in. But even drinking the tea, I've heard that mugwort, I think, either can maybe mess with medications. I'm not sure if that's true. Maybe I'll leave an article if I can find one. And also, I believe it has something to do with pregnancy. If I'm wrong, I will definitely put that on the screen now, but I'm like pretty positive that mugwort can have some side effects, so I wouldn't necessarily recommend drinking mugwort tea or smoking mugwort. But one thing I will say about mugwort is you can do spell work with mugwort. You can put mugwort in a bag and put it under your pillow. I think it still has the same effects. That is just me. That is my beliefs. I believe that crystals have healing energy. I believe that herbs have healing energy. I just believe that everything has an energy. Not everybody agrees with me on that, and I'm totally okay with that. But I do believe in spell work, and that is one way that you can use mugwort in your spells if you also do spell work. And I think it's interesting, the blue apatite, it has to do with spiritual healing and spiritual growth is what it said on the sheet over here. And this, it says psychic healing. So I think something that's going to be happening during this part of your life, during the next month, because that is what I wanted this reading to focus on, would be just the next month of your life and some spiritual guidance for the next month of your life. I think right now is probably a really good time to be protecting yourself psychically, to be, I'm wearing a black tourmaline earring. I like to wear stuff like this because for me it's protection. For me it's remembering, to put on peace. I could say I protect myself and imagine the bubble around me. I am psychically protected from any and all attacks that I experience. So be it. Simple as that. As simple as that. And just smelling it, it's just like, it's like the bubble is around you in scent, and you can do that with a crystal. I know people like to throw crystals in their bra. I like to throw them in their purse. I recommend not using really strong ones. Like, you can check the moss hardness scale. Like quartz will definitely scratch your phone, just so you know. But, maybe having a crystal on you, having jewelry that is a crystal, or even, this is just metal, but it has some inscriptions in it. It's a little turtle. This is protection to me. My jewelry is protection to me. It reminds me to protect myself. It is not technically the protection, because it is just the energy that I am setting for the day. And the energy of protection. I like to wear black for protection as well. And the thing is, I tend to wear black, I don't know if you noticed that, a lot on the internet because there's eyes on me, right? And that means that there's eyes for scrutiny. And it is the same when you are visiting family for the holidays, people you might not see all the time. There can be eyes of scrutiny. There can be people that want to disagree with you. They want to see how rallying you up, getting a rise out of you. How can they do that? Narcissists do that. They find fascination in how they can push people's buttons. And there are people out there like that. The whole world isn't full of good people, and I know you know that. And that means that you must protect yourself. I've said this so many times in so many different readings, but it really is important to me, and it really is something that I like to tell people because it can really change your life if you are protected and you check in with your intuition. You say, should I even go here? Should I even do this? Or you step away from a situation. You check in with yourself before you're getting that rise. You're like, this person is trying to get a rise out of me. And you just try to stay aware in that moment, and you say, I'm not going to let this get to me right now. I'm going to go outside and get a breather. I'm going to go to the bathroom and get a breather. Maybe I'm going to write some notes on my phone. This person just did this to me. I'm going to journal about this later and how it made me feel. Let me go forward in this day with a calm sense. And just know that this moment will be over at some point. This time it will be over at some point. It doesn't last forever. And you aren't going to have to be in defense mode forever. Since this is a brand new card to me, this is a brand new deck to me, not even just a card, brand new deck to me. I would love to see if it has reversals in here. Let's see if maybe there's a reverse meaning to this. It does have a reverse meaning. Stuck in between. Deception, illusions, lost in the labyrinth, disoriented, confusion. And it has astrological rulers as well. So the moon, I don't know what the moon is in right now, but I do know that it is a new moon today. So it is a wonderful time to set intentions. And it did say, right here, or didn't say it, but it has a picture right here of the moon cycles as like a crown on her head. And I would definitely say it would be beneficial to you to look to the moon and find out what phase it's in and find out what sign it's in as often as you'd like. And not only that, I just looked at a website today. It's like what the planets are in or something. I'm gonna link it down below, but it tells you what each planet is in. Moon phases can be easily looked up as well on Google, or there's also apps as well that you can look into for that. You can understand a little bit more about what's going on with you through astrology. Something I've been noticing recently, it seems right now that there is an energy going on, because I've noticed somebody on Facebook talk about how they were feeling, and I was feeling the exact same way. And it's this energy between being stuck and between being grateful for what you have and just trying to live life slowly and appreciate life and, have that spark. If you watch the Starborn card, then you know what I'm talking about, having that spark for life. And then also driving yourself and pushing yourself and bettering yourself. And it feels like these two energies are against each other right now, honestly. Astrologically speaking, it almost feels that way. We are in Capricorn season right now, which I do think is all about that drive and that push. But we're also in winter, which is all about hunkering down. So I feel like those two energies are kind of against each other right now. And then we also have Aries and Chiron, which has to do with like your ultimate spiritual healing and your ultimate spiritual goals. Chiron will be going direct in Aries on December 23rd, which is, I believe, today. Like there's this sense of shadow work happening, but Aries is so fiery, so it's like fiery towards old pains that you've had, which makes a lot of sense during this season because a lot of old wounds and feelings can come up during the holidays, of course. And then we have Uranus in Taurus for the whole month, which Uranus has to do with like the progressive side, like new technologies, engineering. And Taurus, I feel, is like all about stability. And I feel like that means that it's just not time for that right now. It's not time for making all of these new discoveries. So Capricorn wants to like push and wants to have all these new goals. It's of course the new year, and also in the new moon. It's all about new goals and new habits, and I'm gonna start going to the gym, but also you have this side of you that wants to be stable, and you have this side of you that wants to work on shadow work, and then you have the winter, which is making you want to like hunker down. So I just feel like right now in the stars there's just so much happening, and it's all kind of against each other. And I think this card talked about, what does it say? Lost in a labyrinth, disoriented, stuck in between. And I'm really feeling like that right now in the stars. And I like that this is herbal astrology because I planned on pulling out astrology today. I don't talk about it that often, but I was definitely feeling like the stars are speaking to us right now in this time frame. There's a lot going on, and it it just seems to be pulling it all these different directions. And I think it's time right now to try to coerce this energy together and also just maybe do a little bit of one and a little bit of the other. It's like you can do shadow work journaling one day, and then the next day you can go to the gym, and then the next day you have a complete rest day, and maybe you even have another complete rest day after that. And then if you saw the Starborn card, maybe the next day you're going to focus on drawing with your nieces and nephews, and the next day you're going to research about different new technologies, and you're going to the next day you're going to write down all of your passions, and you're going to create a vision board, and you're going to create your new habits and daily task list. Do a master reset on how you plan out your days and how you plan out your months and just your whole system. Something that I'm getting because of the moons, it's reminding me of a calendar, and it's a really, really, really good time of year to figure out a new way to run your life. And when I say that, I mean, like, I have this journal here, and on daily days, I have my intention. Let's just find a good day that I can show you. So I was doing way too much earlier. Like, I had so many things on my list. I even put, like, what to eat. I have my intention. I have my gratefulness. I have reflections. And then I actually did a master reset, which is called my winter week. I had a, my regular week. I'll show you that as well, actually, just to give you guys a sense of the difference. So this was my regular week and all the things that I wanted to do. Much more full, as you can see. And then it's like a pared back version. If I can get to the regular week, then I do, but I still feel like there's certain things that have to be done on a given day. And it's like when you give yourself this massive task list, it becomes super overwhelming. So if you have your like mini task list for the day, and then you're like, if I'm feeling it task list in two different places, that's a good way to do things. But I think it's just important to figure out a way that works for you, because I love doing paper, and I put all my notes in here. I put my grocery list in here. I'll do like thought dumps in here for ideas. I'll do like my gift list of things like that. So I do everything in one place, but I've heard people love the app Notion. I use my Notes app as well. I use Google Calendar. I think it's a really good time of year to reset how you're taking in notes, how you're making your list of things to do for the day. You can also have days where you just flow, as I talked about in the Starborn card. It is important to have flow states. It is important to just be one and kind of go where your heart takes you. And then there's those other days, so it's an important balance. And I think that this time of year is saying, like, you can split it up. You can do all of that at once. It doesn't have to be, I'm hibernating and therefore I'm not working on bettering myself. Or I'm bettering myself and therefore I get no rest. One doesn't make the other one false, right? Days can be split up. Parts of the days can be split up. Parts of the weeks can be split up. Figure out what works for you. Switch it out if it doesn't continue to work. Never be rigid with your schedule. Like, I had my old week and it was making me feel bad about how little I was getting done, and I made my new week and it's working a lot better for me. So never be rigid. Always think of ways to better your routine and your list. Not everybody's going to need as rigorous of a list as me, because some people, they just go to work and then they come home and they don't really have any other work to be done after that. But I think most people have daily tasks that need to be done, like taking out the trash and doing the dishes and dealing with mail and cleaning the bathroom at some point, and all these like little things that just add up. Maybe you want to make yourself a dry erase board calendar somewhere in your house. There's so many options for getting to tasks. And I just think it's funny because the first card, if you're doing this as like a whole reading, the first card talked about flowing with life and finding that spark, and then the second card is, I feel, kind of talking about logistics. That's what's coming out for me right now, is talking about how you plan. So they can both happen at once. It's so important to know that you can flow with life, you can find those sparks in life, and you can still have that logistical attitude and get those bills paid and better yourself and get your schedule really nice and easy for you to work with. The moon represents our emotional body, the shadow self, the underworld, psychic abilities, and the occult. So this might be a good time for you to focus on researching different parts of occult studies and try to better your psychic abilities. I think that bettering your psychic abilities really goes hand in hand with intuition, and your intuition is really about trusting yourself. And if you don't trust yourself, then you're really going to struggle, and that's just something that you need to work on. It's like doing push-ups, you know what I mean? Like, that's how you get stronger. That is how you get stronger with your brain, and you will learn with your divine messages that you're receiving. When you get a message, it can come in many ways: ringing in the ear, just a divine knowing, like you seem to know something. It can be said out in your head, and there just a picture on the wall, a song. When it comes to you and you don't believe it, you will notice how that usually doesn't go so well. And over time, I think you seem to learn the lesson, like, okay, I'm just going to go with my gut because it seems to know the way. And even if it doesn't turn out right away, it seems to all work out in the end. And you know that you are going to guide yourself properly. If in the past you made a lot of poor decisions, I know I did. I think everybody had a huge part of their life where they didn't know how to take care of themselves. They didn't know where to go and what to do, and they probably made a lot of poor decisions, whether that's health or who they hung out with. I think everybody dealt with that, and probably a lot of people still are dealing with that. But I just want you to know that you can trust yourself now. You can. And you can call out to the universe and you can say, I want divine intuition. I want divine intuition. I want you to send me messages and guide me. And I want you to help me help the world. You can shout these things out. You can say them in your head. You can, do it before bed at night, along with maybe, asking for health for others, and just going through a list of some intentions that you want to set. But that is really one way that I was able to trust my intuition, is to reach out and say, now this is divine guidance. Now this is from the universe. I am no longer just going through life as just Maya who doesn't know what she's doing and always just parties too much and didn't take care of myself. No, I'm no longer that person anymore. I am now divinely connected. I now can tap into what is best for the highest good. That doesn't mean I always make all the right decisions, no. I think what I'm really trying to say is, just because you used to be one way and you used to make bad decisions for yourself, or you used to always drink or always do drugs or always overshop or always, that doesn't mean that today can't be the day that you now trust yourself to make the right decisions. It can be today. It doesn't have to be some miraculous day in the future when you become that person that makes good decisions for yourself. It can be today. And it also talked about the shadow self, and I think that the winter is an absolutely wonderful time to work on the shadow side of yourself. If there's been times in your childhood that you've been thinking of, write out what happened in your childhood and write out how it's making you feel, how it made you feel then. Ask some questions and just really kind of dump that out onto the paper. It will help, I promise. And you will find out more about yourself, and you might even uncover scenarios that happened in your life that you didn't even remember. That has happened to me, where I started asking more questions and I learned more about what happened that day, or I learned more about who else was there or something like that. Like, there are literally memories that are lost, and you are able to uncover more of that by diving deep in and asking those serious questions. If there's anything on your mind, maybe for me it's like, oh, I don't like the way I act when I'm hungry. That's just something I've been working on for ages, and it's like, I can write that out. Like, why does this happen, and why, and how, what can I do to help? I can bring snacks with me, and I can make sure I get a breakfast in the morning, like an extra big one too, because even though I don't want to eat in the morning, I just have to, because if I get to a certain point, I'll be so grumpy, and I don't want to shout at anybody and be grumpy towards anybody. It's like a chain reaction for everybody to just not be feeling in a good mood that day. And you can notice your triggers, and you can notice what to do about them, you know? Like I said, packing that snack, and so, like, you can find that personal power and what you can do. And sometimes it does, I will always say this, sometimes it does mean removing someone from your life, because if somebody is the trigger, always, and then maybe they're really not acting appropriately. This bitter herb was traditionally used as a tonic for stomach and intestinal conditions. The moon is said to directly govern the stomach, the gut in its entirety, and the regulation of the fluid in its body. That's something that I really struggle with. I have a lot of stomach pain myself, and I always have, and stomach problems run in my family, and it is tough. And I've definitely noticed that herbal remedies do help me, like drinking tea with lemon and smelling peppermint and drinking kombucha and taking probiotics, different things like that can be very, very useful. Herbs can really be healers, and don't sleep on their abilities, or maybe do sleep with some mugwort and have some lucid dreams. Artemis, the moon goddess, and her wise white owl meet you as you enter the liminal space between one life phase and the next. So we had that egg cracking, and that's what she's saying as well. So yeah, this is definitely a part of the same reading. Your channel is wide open. She is instructing you on how to draw upon your psychic powers to pass through this test within the realms of shadow. I think it's very interesting that it says test in this card, because I do believe that it almost feels like a test. When I got my extreme intuition that I now have, like, I still worked with tarot before this happened, but I was reading a book. I've said this story many times. I was reading a book, and the book said to try to connect to the divine and my intuition every night before bed. And I did it for 30 days. It said do it for 30 days, and I did it. I did not miss a single day. And that was a test for me. It was like, it's not even a test from the divine. It's a test for yourself, because it's saying, can I commit to something? Am I going to use this wisely? Am I going to do the right thing? And I think that there's also a test within your heart. And the test within your heart is, do you want the best for the whole world? Because that is what the guidance is coming from. It is coming from the divine flowing through everything. So if you do not care for everything and you'd rather be closed off and you'd rather only care about yourself and you're like, screw everybody else, you know, like I don't care what happens to anybody else, then you're gonna have a really hard time connecting to that intuition, because the intuition comes from the divine flowing of all things, of the connection of all things. And to know that and to truly believe that and to truly want the highest good, that is where it comes from, to tap into that. And there also is that sense of, am I committed? And it definitely set a test. And I'm not saying that your test is going to be the same, where it's like 30 days of doing it before bed at night. You might get a message in a different way, you know, from a book of your own, or from maybe you're watching other YouTube videos that tell you a different way to tap into your intuition. But follow your intuition. I had intuition before I had this strong intuition. I swear it got stronger. You are not lost. Oftentimes, the greatest clarity draws after the darkest hours. Very true. Pay attention to the signs and omens that appear as you navigate the labyrinth of subterranean forest. Yes, pay attention to the signs. Like I said, in music, on TV, anywhere, an actual sign, graffiti. It does not matter where it's coming from. It is meant for you. If it sparks something in you, if you light up, you will know when it happens. You will know when that intuition spark happens. And you will know where to pay attention. And if you're really struggling with your intuition and you would like to have a more personal, like one-on-one approach to it, I can do a actual personal reading for you to figure out what's up with your intuition. Feel free to comment down below or message me on Instagram if you would like a private reading. I definitely offer those as well. And that is everything I have for that card. I hope that you're enjoying this reading so far, and I'll be back in a second. Okay, I took a break and ate some avocado toast, and now I'm ready to get into the Tiger's Eye card, which is Seer. I can show you the card. 100% reminds me of the High Priestess card in tarot. The High Priestess card is all about intuition and psychic powers, which we just touched on a lot in the Mugwort card. So this whole reading is 100% linked. I definitely recommend watching the whole thing. And it says, see beyond the current situation. Yeah, and in the last card it talked about like feeling like you're in a labyrinth. Definitely. So yeah, this card is calling you to see beyond your current situation. And I really do think it's about bringing that hope in. I believe it's about reaching out to the divine, like I said in the last card as well, really like actually saying out loud or saying in your head, I want divine intuition to come to me. I want to be able to know what is best for me. Please send me the knowledge and understanding. Please help me to make the right decisions. Whatever you need in your life, please call out to the divine, call out to the universe. It really will help you. I promise you that. If I can say anything for sure, it's that calling out to the universe, whether the universe is answering or it's just me answering my own calls, it's helpful. It really is. And I think it's, if intuition isn't something that you believe in, I think a lot of you probably do believe in intuition if you're here, but if it isn't, it is time. It is time to really try to tap into that side of yourself, to trust your gut, to ask for divine messages, to follow the little breadcrumbs that you are given in life. It is so important. What you will notice, please tell me other people this happens to them too, because it is like constant for me. I get little visions. I get little visions of something that is about to happen, or I get like a vision of one of my friends and then they message me. Like, it happens constantly for me. And it's like, you have to trust those little things. That's a really good place to start, is to notice that and be like, wow, I do seem to know things ahead of time. And maybe like do some practice, have somebody hide something else in a box, and then you try to think of what is inside of the box, and you can do different practices like that. This card says, seers are the intelligent and intuitive beings who serve as direct channels for information on what's occurring now and what's about to unfold. Their energy isn't about predicting your future for you, but about showing you how your intentions are creating it. That is the reason why I don't typically do future readings, what is going to happen to you in the next month, and rather what information can help you during the next month, because you have the ability to change your destiny, and the Starborn card talked about that as well. I think a lot of people think if you're spiritual, then you're just like giving it up to the divine to just take you wherever you want in life. And yeah, there are those flow states, but there's also you figuring out your values and you figuring out your goals, you know, starting a business, having a certain amount of money, buying a house, owning a boat, whatever your goal is, that can be attained through hard work and dedication and telling the universe what you want. So you're co-creating with the universe. You can set those goals and intentions and then flow after that. But I think it is really important to have those goals and intentions set down on paper, or, you know, in some sort of app, or however you want to do it, whether it's pictures or writing, it doesn't matter. The universe understands all languages. Yes, your intentions can change, and therefore so can your future. There's a lot in this reading about being flexible. Like, yes, you're setting those goals, and yeah, they might be concrete that day where you're like, I'm gonna work out 4 days a week, and it's like super concrete and it's working for you. And then maybe you're doing really well and you want to take it up to 5. Or maybe you're sick one week and you can't go at all, and maybe there's something happening in your family and you can only go 1 day that week. That's okay. You really have to be flexible with yourself. Having super rigid habits can be sometimes really hard to maintain. They need to be able to maybe move that day. The habit needs to be easily attainable. You know, if you can move that habit into your house, or if, you know, go to the closest gym, or, you know, I always think of people wanting to lose weight or get healthy during the new year, and it's like, if you make it super difficult for yourself to actually get there, it's, you know, it's freezing cold outside and you have to take 3 buses to get there. I remember myself doing that. I was like, I got a free month by signing up for like 2 classes or something at this yoga studio, and I was like, I'm gonna go all the time this month, and it was literally on the other side of town. I only went to those 2 classes that I paid for, and the rest I didn't go to at all. So it's like, I made it hard on myself. There's literally a yoga studio just a couple minutes away from my house. It's like, make things easy on you if it's a new habit. And also, don't beat yourself up if it phases in and out of your life. And that is for anything. That is for anything. If it phases in and out, that is okay. Your goals can morph and change, and you can just be who you want to be. It's okay. It's okay to change. I saw one of the YouTubers I've been watching for a really long time. Her name is Raw Beauty Christy, and she posted a video today saying how makeup was everything for her. You know, for 10 years she was on YouTube makeup, and it's in her name, Raw Beauty Christy. And now she just feels like she would let everybody down if she changed her content, and yet she's a mother now and she homesteads, and makeup isn't the forefront of her life anymore, and she felt she was being inauthentic to herself. And people in the comments said, it doesn't matter that your name is Raw Beauty Christy, because she kept saying that. She kept saying, but my name has beauty in it. I just feel like I have to, all these people watch me for makeup. And everybody in the comments was like, that's not true. Like, we watch you for you. And your name is beauty, and guess what? Nature is beauty. And you being a mother is beautiful. And you homesteading is beautiful. Like, it doesn't have to be boxed in. And you can get these, she had this like huge wall up that was like, I can't do this because everyone will leave me, everybody will unsubscribe. First of all, okay, let some people leave, maybe new people will come. And second of all, it's okay to change, and the people that understand will understand, and the people that don't won't. And it's okay, but like not being authentic to who you are anymore, and just putting that face and makeup on for her content, and really just not feeling that connection to it anymore because she aligned with other things now. That's not healthy, So you might have built up this whole thing around who you are and what you're interested in and all that can go away in an instant. That could go away in a heartbeat. Everything could change for you. And it's important to accept that, to accept the new person that you become. That old person existed, and they were amazing, and people love them for who they were, and you exist, and you're amazing, and people love you for who you are. You can keep shedding layers of yourself. Clairvoyance isn't just about predicting the future. It's about being able to see clearly enough to create your best future. You are being encouraged by your ancestral guides and angels to see beyond what you think is happening now. Don't allow your ego or doubts to play games with you. So when it says your ego, doubts can often be part of the ego. And the ego, I believe, what my definition really of is anything that's trying to take you away from the present moment. Any part of your brain that's saying, oh, I look terrible in this, or I'm not good enough, nobody cares about me, and there's just all these reasons why you're not enough, and the present moment isn't enough, and in this moment in the future, I will have it. Or, oh, in the past, I was so great back then, what happened to me? Yeah, a lot of this reading talks about seeing yourself as being stuck or lost or having these doubts. It says in the next line, instead of seeing yourself as stuck or lost, know that you're in an energetic space while the universe recalibrates a path that is more favorable for you. So I think right now, it has said this multiple times in multiple of the cards, where it's like, even that first card is an egg. So that's very much like the energy that I'm getting from this whole reading is like, it's almost like a stuckness, like you might have ideas but right now it's just not seeming to all come into fruition. All the pieces aren't seeming to align. You're having a lot of doubts about maybe the pathway that you're taking, your destiny, your fate, that sort of thing. And it's specifically telling you that you do not have to worry, that you may feel lost and stuck now, and that is something you can root into. You can understand these emotions, you can journal about them, like I said, but it will pass. It will. This is a time in your life, and it is readying you for something better and for something great. Something is going to happen. It's this breaking free of the egg. Intuition plays a strong role in this reading. It, I believe, is saying that for people that are watching this, there is going to be something that happens, whether that is you dedicating yourself to trusting yourself more, or intuition, or journaling. Something is going to happen. Reading a book like it happened for me. And it is going to spark a new sense of intuition, a new connection with the divine understanding and flow. the words that come to you will seem very, very true to you. You will know how to discern you from this more divine side of you that is able to give you guidance. Like I said, I had intuition before and then it got stronger. Who's to say that I won't have another time where I feel that my intuition is even stronger? Maybe I'm having perfectly clear visions of what's going to happen in the future, so of what could happen in the future technically, but there's layers to it. There's layers to intuition. There's layers to understanding the messages that you're receiving, and you get better and better at it all the time. It really is like working out. And I wanted to mention that right now, Mars, which represents energy, action, and desire, is retrograding in Gemini. And for me, I'm a Gemini, and I feel Gemini does have a tie to intuition and, definitely that balance and everything like that. So it being retrograde in Gemini, it makes a lot of sense why there's this almost feeling of unbalance. I feel is what I've been getting from the universe, from the astrology, from people that I've just been seeing post on the internet lately. Is just this general sense of like things just seem off. Just getting your actions straight and getting what you're supposed to be doing straight. It's all just kind of feeling like a little bit of a stumble, or a little bit of like, should I do this? Should I do that? Like you're being pulled, and it is going direct. It is coming out of retrograde on January 12th. So I do think that could be an important date, where the energies are mingling a little better, on January 12th, and definitely that full moon on January 6th as well can be a really good time to do like cleansing. And if you want to set the intention now, have a really strong intuition, and then practice it, focus on it, do more research about understanding how to do that, and then that can be your intention for the next month. I think that's a great intention to have, definitely. Try to notice, maybe even write down and journal when you happen to have a vision, or you happen to have a side of yourself in your head that said something that was insightful and actually helped you out. Note those things down. Angels of light are upgrading your energy so your experiences can be more enjoyable. You are moving towards something extremely uplifting and enlightening, so stay calm and keep your eyes on the prize. Okay, so it really seems like there's good news, but it's kind of like in a holding state right now. It's about to happen, but it hasn't happened yet. So just patience, working on that intuition. Is whatever is supposed to come to you will come to you, okay? Things are about to get a whole lot more joyous and a lot lighter coming into this new year. I believe the fresh energy is coming, so just be on the lookout for something magical. Set those goals. You got this, love. And I wanted to say, if you're liking this reading, definitely feel free to give it a like, comment, subscribe. It means the absolute world to me. And then I'm going to be moving on to the Jasper. Okay, and for Jasper, out of the Medicine Woman Tarot deck, we have the Five of Stones. In typical tarot, the Five of Pentacles represents a financial loss. Sometimes it can also represent a relationship loss. We have a relationship. Actually, we have like a full party on here. So it just kind of means hard times, but this Medicine Woman deck really puts its own spin on the typical tarot. So we will see. I don't think I've ever pulled this card. I shall love my work enough that it is fulfilling in itself. Yes, that is what it is about. That is what this whole reading has been about. This whole reading is, it's like, it's Capricorn season. So it's like, yes, let's grind. Yes, let's make these goals. It's New Year's. It's like, yes, let's make these new goals and let's strive to have whatever it is, a better business. Maybe you have had a financial loss. It's like, I want to work super hard. I want to make money in different ways. I want to make money from social media. I want to make money from my new baking business. Whatever it is, you have all these ideas, and in the end, it's like, but are you enjoying it? You can take a break. You can take a break. It's not going to hurt you. It's not going to hurt your productivity. I think that this is such a misconception in our society, is that if we take a break, if we do something that sparks joy, if we just do something fun with our work for that day, and maybe, not only the things that we were supposed to be doing, maybe we really get creative with our work and think of something new, really have fun, maybe bring other people involved, that we're somehow wasting our time, that we're somehow not doing what we're supposed to be doing, that we won't make enough money if we do that. We won't achieve our goals if we take our time to love what we do, get creative with it, bring that spark back in. That is so not true. Let's say you do have a baking business and you have your cookies that you make, right? And people are doing good. You're getting your cookie orders and you have your set list of the ones that you have. But maybe today you decide, you know what? I'm going to bake a cake and I'm going to figure out how to use fondant and I'm going to make some mushrooms. I'm going to make it look like a log. I'm just going to do something different. Maybe for Yule, I'm going to do a Yule log cake. And, somehow you got it in your head, like, I'm not allowed to do this. I just have my cookie orders and that's all I can do because that's what I have on my list and that's what people are ordering and that's how I will make money. And it's like, you're not allowed to have that creative moment. But guess what? If you have that creative moment and you post about it or you show it to people, then that might be your new next thing. Then people want your log mushroom cake. If you don't take that time to have that fun and to be sparked by nature and be sparked by children and your family and all your friends and all these things that spark creativity and just playing, getting dirty in the mud, in the baking, like, it's messy, it's fun. If you don't do those things, you're missing out. You're missing out on new endeavors that could spark so much more for you. And, that's just a metaphor, the baking business, but that is for anything. You can take that time to love what you do. It might bring forth new prosperity, new money, and it will definitely bring forth a new light in your heart and will make your work easier. It will make what you do easier. Try to bring that energy into your home life if you can't bring it into your career. But I do believe that there is a way to bring that energy into your career. Be creative. Don't be afraid to share your ideas. Don't be afraid to be different. To tell people that things could be done differently. It can really boost you ahead in life. You do not have to fit into the mold. Just what's the most important is that you enjoy the life that you have set yourself up. Yes, there are bad days, but the things that you have chosen to do, your job, where you live, the people that are in your life, the hobbies that you have, the habits that you have those choices. And you want to set it up to mostly be fun and joyous and relaxing and peaceful. And it's all about culling what's not good and shedding the layers of what's not good for you. Though I have paid a price, I can rightly ask others to pay a price for what I offer. If you have a service, or if you have a business, or if you make a product, whatever it is, charge the right price for your work. Do not work for free. It says right here, I will give away some of my work simply because I have loved it. And for love, it can be given. Yes, That is true. There are times and places it can be done for free. What if you're a DJ, you do a free party for someone, and then the person's like, this was terrible. You know, when you get that feeling where you're unappreciated, it makes doing things for free so much harder. You have to know the threshold. You have to use your intuition to know when is the time or place to be giving things away for free, and when is the time to be asking the proper price. Like, figure out what other people are charging in your area. If you have a product, maybe look on Etsy, look on other places on eBay or wherever, you know, if you're selling online. Whatever industry you're in, figure out the proper price. Please don't undersell yourself. Think about the materials that go into it. Think about the time that goes into it, and charge the proper price. If people don't want to buy it, they aren't your people. They're not the people that you're supposed to be marketing to. You will find a new set of people that have the money to spend. Get paid what you are worth. I abide by the spiritual law of tithing. 10% of my bounty belongs to my people. I give not in order to receive, but because I have already received. See, I know about the church tithing, and it's like, oh, I'm supposed to give 10%. I'm supposed to give 10% of all of my earnings for the year to the church. And it's like, it's completely different than that. It's like, 10% of my work is done for people that cannot afford the work and desperately need the help. Or 10% of my, guidance is done for me. It's YouTube. That's 10% of my work. It's free. It's available for anyone. It's advice and guidance. It might be more general than my personal one-on-one readings that are paid, but it is 10% of my time and my skills for free. You don't have to do all of your work for free. You shouldn't really be doing none of your work for free either. There should be a balance there, and I think 10% is a good balance. And I think it's just funny to think about the way that the church spun that for them to receive money. And it's like, no, tithe to your community in a way that it will help them, that your community can receive from that. Figure out a way that it can be accessible and free to those in your community, the skills that you have. I give not in order to receive, but because I have already received. Mother Earth blesses me every day with the elements of true happiness. Earth, wind, sky, trees, flower, the song of birds, and the foods that nourish me are but a few of her gifts. In her name I return my wares to others. And so be it. The earth gives you nourishment, and therefore you can give others nourishment. And to see that beauty in the earth, to have eyes for it, like I mentioned in that movie Soul, just go watch Soul again. That movie's so good. Just go watch it. It will spark that joy in you. It'll bring you to tears and make you remember why. Remember what's going on and what you're doing. and why you chose this beautiful earth to come to. It says, it may seem as though you lost something. Your situation has changed and some of your assets are gone. And a lot of the times it can be people that have to be removed from your life, and it hurts. It really hurts. It's very sad whenever you level up in your life or you're making changes in your life and you just want everybody you've ever known to come with you, don't you? You just want them all to be where you're at now. You want them all. For me, it was getting sober. It's like, now I'm sober and I just wish that every person I've ever known can feel what it feels like not to be hungover ever, and or like intuition. It's like, I just wish everybody would trust their intuition. I just wish I could give it to everybody. A long time in my life, I did not treat people with respect. I was a very negative person. And when I chose that choice to change, I chose the choice to change. That is a fun way to put it, but I did. And I wanted everybody to come with me, but they can't. You are leveling up, not the whole world. Everybody levels at different times, and they might be able to come up, but I've found that a lot of the times those people tend to fade. And it's really sad. You can mourn that. You can have a place in your heart where you say, I wish you were here. And you can still feel that and still know that it is best for you. Did you dip into your security stash and sacrifice your own well-being to serve someone else's will? You do come first. This is something that is just, I think, hard, especially for people pleasers to understand, especially for those who had parents that they had to nurture. Maybe they had some emotionally immature parents and they had to kind of coddle them instead of the other way around. People like that, they tend to struggle heavily with putting others before their own well-being, your own body, your own mind. You can say no. You can. I thought I couldn't say no. I thought that everybody would think I was evil and mean if I told people, I'm sorry, I can't really do that today, or I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm not evil, and if somebody wants to make me out to be the villain in their story, that's okay. But if you can't do something, then you can't do it. And that's just that. Maybe those ties were meant to be broken if somebody doesn't understand. You're not the villain when you tell people that you can't be there for them. You are taking care of you. Did you hold back from your talents, abilities, or true convictions? Something that I've learned through doing tarot on YouTube is that it's important to just start. I kept getting in my head, like, I need the perfect ring light, and I need the camera, and I need this, and I need that. The reality is, all I had to do was just put my phone up there. I could have put my phone anywhere and started filming. If you haven't started something, just start it. And if you want to do new parts of something you've already been doing, just do it. And it can start slow, and you can figure out the ways you want to change it once you've already started. That first push to just get it done, to just go, it's hard, yes. But just know you don't need every little thing to be right to start something new. I think the reason that I brought up YouTube is because I was really being held back not only by what I had, in the starting phase, but also what are people going to think? I'm putting myself out there on the internet. I'm putting my voice, my face, everything about me, my spiritual beliefs out there on the internet. And that can be scary, that can be frightening. Same with, performing in front of people. Same, any sort of talent that you have, going to be showing a side of yourself to the public. And that can be really scary, and that can be daunting. The fears really don't go away. I waited to do YouTube for years, and I thought maybe the fears would just go away someday. And I would just magically be ready. I would magically feel like, oh, I've prepared enough, and I have enough, and I think I'm ready now. That feeling never came. It didn't. You just have to push through the uncertain feeling because you know your values, you know a goal of yours. It's important to have those underlying goals and those underlying values laid out so that you know why you're doing it and you know why you're pushing through the doubts and the ego and the fear telling you it's not going to be good, you don't have what you need to do this talent or hobby or habit. And if somebody is personally making you feel like it's not a good idea to maybe add on to your career in some way or some hobby or habit that you really want to do, and somebody is making you feel like it's not a good idea, really ask yourself, are you going to let this person change your destiny? The goals and the values that you have set out for yourself. And some people are going to see your goals and values as incorrect. And you need to believe in them. You need to believe in them to your core. You need to know why you believe that belief, why you have that value. Really break it down for yourself. Spend some time journaling your values and your goals, really get them centered and written out for the new year. It says, don't get attached to this temporary poverty role by adopting a poor me attitude. If you feel really low financially, which I think a lot of people are since we're in a recession and food costs so much these days, it's asking you to think about your resources. And that can be anything from resources like going to a food bank, friends and family, and that can also be resources that you already have. So do you own anything that can be created into something that you can sell? Do you have any assets like stocks, or do you own anything that can be sold? It is time to exert mental discipline, appreciate yourself, practice contentment for what is, reimagine your future, and relax into the wealth you already have. Change is near. So look at that. It tells you exactly what to do. Mental discipline. So really stay true to these goals that you're setting yourself, and appreciating yourself. Always pat yourself on the back for the goals that you've already achieved. Practice contentment for what is. So if you are in a difficult situation, just know it, yes, it is happening. Like, yeah, you can't get out of something that has already happened. You can understand it. You can do journaling work about what is happening to you, the emotions that you're feeling, and you can figure out what your next steps are, but it is happening. So that is an acceptance. And reimagine your future, write those goals down, get those values down on paper, and relax into the wealth you already have. Change is near, so stay grateful and know that good things are coming to you. And that is everything I have for that card, and I hope that you love this part of the reading. I'm going to move on to the Onyx card. Before I move on to Onyx, I just wanted to say something that just came up for Mugwort. I just looked at the card again, and the mirror reminded me of scrying, so that might be something you want to look into if you wanted to look into different ways to use your psychic talents, and just look a little bit more into that. You might want to keep a dream journal. That could be one of your new goals, is to keep a journal next to your bed and try to decipher and figure out what your dreams are telling you. Okay, and now I'm moving on to Onyx. And we have, it is the Stargazer reverse. It is set your sights higher. You can see this person has a telescope and it has the stars behind it. It's called the Stargazer. So it's definitely like that connection to the divine through looking at the stars. But I think since it's reversed, it's like, it has a lot to do with what I've already been talking about in this reading, where there's these like multiple energies pulling, where it's like, set your dreams higher, you're setting all these new goals. But then it's also like, you gotta do that deep inner work, and you gotta find what sparks you. And sometimes you gotta go outward, looking at the stars to find that spark. It's a balance of both. It's a balance of doing that shadow work and that light work to find that happiness and understand why you didn't already have it. I heard something recently that said, instead of thinking, how can I do this? You should be thinking, why am I not already doing this? So what is causing me to not do it? Is it my mind? Is it my perspective? Like I talked about earlier about, eating, about making food. Do I think it's such a chore instead of thinking, I'm going to nourish myself, I'm going to make something delicious? Or is it's a difficult task to actually pull out, like I said before as well, about going to a gym or yoga class really far away on the other side of town instead of maybe laying out a yoga mat right in your house. So you want to get that friction in between you and what you want to do down to almost none. It says, go beyond your limitations and believe that the impossible is possible. That's right, baby. It's possible. You can do it. You can heal yourself. You can get things done that you never thought were possible. You can achieve dreams and goals. Do you remember wishing on a star when you were a child, and in your innocence believing that your wish would come true? Stargazer connects your energy with the energy of the cosmos and reminds you that you have the ability to draw on support from the universe. Yes! This has been such a huge part of this reading, the whole thing, all the way through. Call on the universe. Ask for divine intuition so that you always have that universal insight with you at all times. Call on what you need. If you want health for your friends and family, if you want health for yourself, if you want a certain tool to get something done in your work, call on the universe. Ask the universe. You would be so surprised. I mean, somebody might reach out to you. Somebody reached out to me for Christmas and just said, "What do you need? What do you want?" And I have a list of things that I need. I have like certain ones starred because they need them right away. The universe can actually find people that want to help you and get those things for you, or it'll come to you naturally, like at a thrift store, or a friend will be giving something away. You are closer to the energy of the universe than you think. You don't have to go out looking for it, it's already there. So look beyond where you are and create even bigger dreams, visions, and goals, because with the power and help of the cosmos, those wishes can come true. All the goals you're about to set are going to happen. You are on the verge of a miracle. This reading has said change is coming. It keeps saying that. And it keeps saying something magnificent is going to happen. A miracle is going to happen. This is so beautiful. All of your dreams and aspirations are within your grasp, within yourself, within your connection. It's all around you. It is all around you. You are being guided to focus on your vision. The angels who are with you are encouraging you. It has mentioned your ancestors, your guides, and your angels over and over in this reading. It even mentioned Artemis, so call on these people. Call on your guides, call on the guidance from the universe. There's an opportunity at this time to heal an old wound or pattern of lack and not feeling good enough. It has also mentioned that so many times in this reading. The last card actually really spoke directly on the feeling of lack and the feeling of not good enough. Some people call it the ego, and it also mentioned having doubts, which is in the same vein. Saying that you have the opportunity to heal this. And I believe that that is why it's reversed, because yes, this is a time of outward achievements. In a balanced way, this time should also be for shadow work. It should be for journaling and figuring out why you feel the way that you do, why the feeling of lack is there, and why you haven't already achieved certain goals, why you reacted the way you have in the past, whatever has been on your mind. It could be at the end of the day, every day, it could be once a week, but I definitely recommend doing that journaling. It will really greatly help you and help you clear out that energy to bring in those amazing new habits and hobbies and goals and wonderful things that are coming to you. They're really great things are happening for you. In the past, you've often found it impossible to recognize your worth and to believe that you are deserving of blessings. You are deserving of blessings. Angel and ancestor wisdom is reminding you that you are an incredible and infinite spark of the universe. Oh my god, this started with the spark. That's what the Starborn is all about, and it ended with the Stargazer. That's crazy. That is so beautiful. You are the spark. Not only do you find that spark in the beauty of the stars and the beauty of a leaf falling from a tree, but you are also that spark. For others, for yourself, you are the little bit of light in the universe. You deserve the highest good. You deserve the highest good. Get it through your head. I love you. The universe is not only within you, it absolutely adores you. That's right. It loves you. You are talented. You are filled with strength. And you have the abilities you need to turn your wildest dreams into reality. Yes, you are talented. You are amazing. You can do it. You can get it done, whatever you want to do. All of the goals and dreams and visions that you have set up for yourself, even if they're changing and morphing, you can have them. You will have what is right for you. You will get it done and do what needs to be done and do that inner work too. You will achieve your financial goals. You will achieve the goals of just enjoying life. You will achieve the mental, emotional, intuition-based spiritual goals that you have. They will come true for you. And it will be through your own work and your own calling out to the universe that it will happen for you. Achieve those dreams, babes. You got this. I can't wait to see what you do. Please tell me what your goals are in the comments for the new year. And not only that, don't just tell me your goals in the comments. Tell me something that you've done that you're extremely proud of. Please, I would love to hear it. And I think that that's everything I have for you in this reading. This was a really fun one. I hope that you watch the whole thing because it 100% is together as one reading. I definitely think there's little messages in each part, but it just goes together, and it is for anybody who sees this. And I just hope that you have an amazing next month, next year, and the whole rest of your life. And if you enjoyed this, definitely feel free to subscribe. Check out any links that I'm going to leave down below. I have my Illusion Elixirs website where you can buy peace. And I also, like I said earlier in the reading, I do offer private one-on-one readings. So definitely feel free to reach out to me or message me about that if you're interested in that. And I'm also going to leave a video of all of the cards now if you're interested in seeing that. So here's the video, and yeah, just many blessings to you. I just hope that you have an amazing day. I love you so much. Bye, loves.